Hey you guys, welcome to part 4 of this 5 video series about all Divi modules. In this video I'm gonna take you by the hand and show you the next Divi modules, but also gonna show you some CSS that I use mostly in creating client websites. For example, I will show you how to add 2 buttons in the slider module, how to create an awesome tab module with 2 images on top. And I'm also going to show you how to use those custom bullets in your text module, how to change your icons in your toggle module, and last but not least I will show you how you can change your play button in your video module or your video slider. Alright, let's get started with the first module. So the next module we are going to do is a slider. The slider is one of the most used modules in Divi. We are going to create an awesome slider, and I'm also going to show you how to change the animations that are in there by default. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to add some content to our slide. So the first slide would be like this. Explore the world with the WPress Doctor, and the bottom will be learn more. Alright, so let's change the fonts. Just press on the brush icon and you can go this one. Let's make this Oswald, and we're gonna make this a little bit bold, and also the font size, let's make it like this, and we're gonna align it on the left side. Now for the second row, we're gonna also press the brush icon. We're gonna change this also to Oswald. Almost the same, but we're not gonna make it bold. We're gonna make it semi-bold. We're gonna enlarge the text size. We're gonna align it on the left. And also the button, we are going to align it on the left side. We're gonna use custom styles. Let's make the size a little bit smaller, like this. And we're going to make the font also the same because this looks great. And let's make that semi-bold. All right, that's pretty cool. Let's getting some more padding to this one. Adding some more line height, more spacing. Now, if you have more than 2 rows, for example, if you have more than this, we are going to show you all around the world with this beautiful course, etc. Now, what you now notice is that your line height will also add some more spacing between the 2 lines. I don't really want that, but I do want some more spacing between the title and the text below it. What can we do? Well, of course, first we're gonna change the line height, change it to 1.2, that's great. And now we're going to save this slide. And then we go to Advanced in the slider settings, not in the individual slides, but in the slider settings. We go to Advanced, Custom CSS, and we're going to scroll down and we go to the slide title. And here we're going to add margin, bottom is, well, let's say 20 pixels. And here you go. Now we have added some space below the title. And if you also want to add some space below the text, just go to your slide button and add margin top is, well, 25 pixels. And now you have a little bit of more spacing right there. Don't forget to check how it looks on your mobile device. And if you don't like it, go to this button, press phone. And here you can also change the CSS. If you don't want it, then just add margin bottom is 0, for example. Or maybe you like to have 25. I think it's better. And also for tablet and of course for desktop. All right, so now you know how to add more spacing. Now, what I do want with this one is I want to add a video background because I like that way more than just this boring background. All right, we're going to contents, we go to this slide and we go to background. Here you can add a video background right there. So where are you gonna get royalty-free videos? Well, let me give you an example of a website I use often. You go to pixabay.com and you go to videos, and here you can search for example trees. Awesome. Now all these videos are entirely free to use at your convenience. So let's use this one. I like this one, it's beautiful. All right, we add free download. So for the sizing of your video, I would go with something like 1922. As you can see, the size also increases, so keep that in mind. As most people use fast internet nowadays, it isn't really a problem. If you notice that your website is getting slower and you get bad results, go with a lower quality, but with a smaller file size. For this example, we are going to use the 1922. Press download, and we can save the file. You can also say thanks to the video author. That's pretty awesome. And we go back to Divi, and we're going to add the background video right there. You have to upload your file to the media library and upload your video to your website. Right, here it is. Press upload video. This looks pretty awesome. So what I want to do is I want to make this one full white. You can also use, of course, the full white module in the full white section, but I'm going to cover that in the next video. So let's use just this one. Go to your row settings, go to design, go to sizing, go to 100% max white, also 100%, and here you go. All right, then you go to spacing, and now to make it complete, go to your padding, make it 0 padding bottom and 0 padding top, press save. Then you also see down here, we still have this little row. As you can see, it is from my section. So we go to the section settings, you go to design, you go to spacing, you go padding top 0 and padding bottom also 0. And now everything lines up perfectly. And now we have an awesome full white slider, but we're not using the full white row. This is great. As you can see, it really looks awesome. All right, let's continue with our slider settings. If you want to add another slide into your slider, just press this copy button. And now you can customize the second slider. We go into this one, explore your country. In this course, you can learn everything about your own country, because you need to stop gaming and get out more. And of course, we want an awesome background video. So we're going back to Pixabay. Let's look on beach, and let's go with the beach from Greece. I really like it. So we're also going to download this, and we're going to the background of this one, and we're going to delete this one. We're going to add another one. So now we have our beautiful video right there. All right, so something you need to know. On some devices, some videos can be rendered quickly enough, or they won't render at all. That really depends on the browser and the system of the person visiting your website. So what I always do, I always make sure this background is, or it is removed, or there is a placeholder image in place, so that when the video doesn't load, they just see a beautiful picture. So what you're gonna do is, we need a frame from this video to add it into our background image. How are we gonna do that? I'm gonna show you really easy how to do it using a free video player. So what I'm doing right here, I'm opening this video in FLC Media Player. It is a beautiful free version, lightweight video player. It plays all videos. It's awesome. It's freeware. I use it all the time, and it's really great. So what you're gonna do, you're gonna slide to the place where you want to make a picture of this frame, and then you just hold it right there, press pause it, and then you have a little button down there which says make a video snapshot. Just press that button, and now a snapshot is being generated. It's that easy? Yes, it is that easy. Go back to your Divi website, add a background image, and upload the image we have just created. I've changed the file name to Beach WPress Doctor. Enter your alt text and upload the image right there. All right, so now we have the screenshot of a part of the video inside the background, so that we're absolutely sure that these things will get loaded if the video doesn't play. Keep that in mind, because it's very important. And if you now remove this background video, you can see this is the way people will see it. Now you also need to do this for this particular slide with the trees. And then we just upload this image right there. And now we have created a video background which is compatible with older systems and older browsers, so we are all good to go. This is great. I also want to add a little shadow to the title because you can't read the title when the background is white. So what we're gonna do just down there, press this button, title text shadow, and here you can just change the position of it, and you can just, I like it a little bit there, and I want to make it a little bit more darker. So, all right, this is awesome. So I also want this exact same shadow to appear on the other slides. So what we're gonna do, text shadow, we just press the right button on your website. We're gonna press extend title text shadow. Just press this. We want to extend it to all modules, and we only want to do is to this section because this is just one section. So I'm safe to do this. I press extend. And now if I go to I'm gonna save this one, I'm gonna go to the next slider. And right now the shadow has also been added to this slide. So that is pretty easy. If you want to change different styles of your slides just in one go, this is a way to do it. So you can also add an image to your slide. Just press this button and just you pick an image and just press upload, and then your image will appear on the left side of your page. You can of course add a video. A video will look like this. It is either an image or a video. You can't have both, but I like the image, so let's just use an image. All right, guys, an important thing I do want to point out, if you want to change some settings of all the slides in one go, just go to the slider settings, not of the individual slides, but of the slider settings in general. And you go to, for example, image, and you can make, let's say, a border around all the images in all the slides. This is very useful to change different signs, different settings in all the slides in one go. It will save you a lot of time. So also the title text, we have just changed the shadow below it. But as you can see right now, if I want to change it again to make it, for example, red or blue, nothing will happen on this slide. Why? Because this slide has been changed individually. But what you will notice is that the slides are not moving by themselves. They are just standing there. How are we going to change that? Well, go back to Divi. Go into the settings of your slider. Then you go to design. And we go to animation. All the way on the bottom. And there you go. You press the switch automatic animation. And here you can change the automatic animation speed in milliseconds. So that means when I do 4000, it means 4 seconds. Let's save this and let's see how this looks on the front end. 1, 2, 3, 4. This works pretty good. So you can definitely change the amount of time it takes before the next slide, but around 4, 5 or 6 seconds, depending on the content, you can choose whatever you like. So the first thing most clients ask is, how do we remove this animation of the images? As you can see, the image is sliding from the left and the text is sliding from below. How can we change those settings? Well, it's pretty easy if you know how. Just go back to your Visual Builder. We go to Advanced, you go to Custom CSS, and you go all the way down. And we go to slide description and we paste in the text, animation name is none. Now this CSS snippet will also be available in the description of this video, where you can find a link for all the CSS snippets that we're using today. You can, as you can see right now, the description is always on its place. It's not moving anywhere. The images, however, are still moving. So you go down there and you go to your slide image, and there you paste in the same snippet. Animation name is none. As you can see now, the images and the text will stay in the same place. You can also change different animation styles. For example, if you change this to fade in, you can see that the description of this slide will fade in. It's pretty awesome. You can also do fade left. And it will come from the left side of your screen. You can also do, for example, fade in from the bottom. Then you get this effect. And you can also say we're going to flip it in from X. And now your text will flip in your website. Here you go. So, but you can also add this to your, for example, your image. So if you put this on flip in Y and the other one on flip in X, this is what you see. Hold on. So that's pretty awesome. So you can change anything. I'll post it in the CSS snippets in the description of this video so you can find all the possibilities you have within a Divi slider. So another question I get asked really often is, how can we add 2 buttons inside the sliders? Well, it's also pretty easy if you know how. Just go into the settings of your slider, go to the slide where you want to add 2 buttons, edit it, go to your body text, click on text, and you just paste in this code right there you can find in the description of this video in the snippets. And now you have 2 buttons, and those are actually pretty cool. Here you can just change the name of the button 1 and right there, and you can of course change the link. It is over here, and button 2 right there, and the link also there. So now you know how to add 2 buttons. All right, let's style the slider some more before we go on to the next module. Now we have to leave this button area empty because we already have 2 buttons. All right, let's save this one. All right, if you go to elements, here you can control the elements of your slider. Do you want to see those arrows on the sides when someone hovers over your module? Yes or no? And do you want to show the controls? What are the controls? Well, if you look down there, these are the controls on your slider. I usually remove them. I really don't like them, but it's common that you use one of the 2 so people can interact with your slider. You can also make the entire module a link. Of course, the background, well, you don't need it because the individual sliders now have backgrounds. If you go to design and you go to overlay, you can change a background overlay. As you can see right now what it does on the screen, it makes it a little bit darker. You can of course change the color right here to make it entirely black, or just a little bit, or well, you can do whatever you want with this. It is pretty amazing, so you can always read your text. But you can also use not only the background overlay, but also a text overlay. Now you can have a nice figure right there so people can actually see your text. And I would also suggest always make it a little bit of gradient, but it's totally dependent on your style. You can just change the corners of your overlay text. All right, this is pretty awesome. All right, let's use the background overlay. I like this very much. Here you can change the color of your navigations. Now, we have just turned it off. So let's turn them on, and you go to navigation. And now you can see the colors of the navigation. They are red right now. You can make them any color you like. And also with the dot navigation is down there. You can make them purple, you can make them pink, you can make it white. The image is the image right there. You can create rounded corners on the image. Well, our image is, as you can see it a little bit down there, but not very much because we are using a PNG. And you can create, of course, a border on your image. Well, let's not do that right now. So that is the last thing I wanted to show you, because of the rest, you all know how it works. If you don't know, follow my other videos about the titles, about the Divi modules. And you can also go with animation. You can flip your entire module to animate like this. I would not advise you to do so because, first of all, speed, it will only show this animation after the entire page has been loaded. And that causes for a delay of a couple of milliseconds. And you don't want people to wait that long. So I would say just keep this on none. And add the automatic animation, for example, like 7 seconds. All right, this button, continue automatic slide on hover, should be on. So when you hover your mouse over the image, then your animation will continue. You can also turn it off if you want people to enable to read it, and it won't slide while they have their cursor on your slider module. But it's totally up to you. Alright, so for the last thing I want to show you, if you go to advanced and you go to visibility, here you can even change some things specific for other devices like your mobile. Show your content on mobile, yes or no. Show your call to action on mobile. Those are the buttons. Show your image or video on mobile, yes or no. You can actually turn it on or off. And you can, of course, hide it, but it's the same with every module. So this is what will happen on your mobile device. If I turn the image on, you will show it. It will be shown on the top. And if I turn it off, it will be removed. As you can see right now, it's a little bit too low, but the header is not okay. And the call to action on mobile, yes, no, and the content on mobile. That was the last thing I wanted to show you. It's a little bit different than the other modules. And we are going to the next module. The next module is the social media follow module. We're gonna click it on right there. The social media module, I use it a lot because it's very useful when you want to add your social media accounts into your website. And it's pretty easy. So the first thing you will see is the Facebook and Twitter has already been activated. Let's first center it on the screen. So we go to design, we go to alignment, and you click on this button right there. As you can see right now, it is centered on the middle of my screen. This looks very great. All right, let's get back to content. So you can add your social networks right here with this plus button. Just press it and just add your button you want to add. I want to add Insta, and I also want to add my YouTube channel. And of course, I also want to add the last one is my Vimeo account. So press save. And now we have a bunch of social media accounts which we can work with. So let's go to icon right now. The link target should always be in a new tab, because when someone clicks on this, they are leaving your website. You want to make it possible for them to easily close that tab and come back to your website. So keep that on new tab. The follow button, if you enable this, you will see immediately next to the icons the follow text. This is a call to action, and to be honest, I never use the follow button next to my social media icons, but you can of course enable it. So let's keep it enabled right now. In the background, you can add a background to your entire module. As you can see, I would not use it in this setting right now. So let's keep it that one. Admin label is just for you on the backend. Right, if you go to design, you go to alignment, you can choose where you want them all to be. Let's center them. And if you go to the icon now, things start to become really awesome, because you can change in one go the color of all the icons of your social media networks. As you can see right now, let's make them red. No, let's keep them white. It is better. If you want to use the custom size here, you can change it so you can make them really big. Let's keep it this way. The text, well, this is the text about in the follow button. So if you're gonna make it light, then things change a bit. If you make it dark, then it will be like this. I like the light one. The follow button, you can use custom styles for it. Of course, you can make it a bit bigger because I have changed the size of the icon. So let's make the follow button the same size. And you can of course change the text, and you can of course change the background of all the buttons. So now you can make them a little bit more bluish. Or let's make it in the style of this website, and let's make it more red with white. Or red with black, for example. So you can change it right there. The border white is of course the border around the follow button. Pretty awesome. And the border radius is, well, you get the point. You can make them right. Okay. The letter spacing will change the size of between the letters. Just keep them off. And now we have just changed this one to, for example, Cody Star. Well, these follow buttons are really getting ugly right now, but you get the point. You can change your follow buttons all here. So let's turn this entire button off because I really don't like the follow buttons at all. All right, let's go back to design. The icon size, yes, keep them not too small, but just keep them big enough for you. Let's make them a little bit bigger for the learning purposes. The text to follow button, the sizing, we were right here. This is the sizing of your module, which we'll be not using right now. The spacing, of course, you can add it. The border, add borders to all the different icons. This can be useful if you want to change them and make them look more the style of your website. So this is pretty useful. The shadow, let's give them all a little bit of shadow right there. The filters, of course, and the transform option. You can, of course, do some crazy stuff with your icons, so that looks really funny if you want to create a little bit of a 3D thingy right there. And, of course, your animation, which you can use on every Divi module. Because the most common question I get is, how do we get more spacing between the icons? Well, you can go, if you go to spacing and you go to left, nothing happens, right? Add some little padding right there. Nothing will really happen to give them more space between the icons. So how are we going to do that? Well, you go to advanced, you go to custom CSS, and you go to the social icon. And here you type in margin, right, is 25 pixels. And here you go. Now you have 25 pixels between the icons. You can, of course, change this also to percentages or view wide. So it is all being calculated on the view wide of your screen. The bigger the screen, the more space there is. That would be great to go with 3. And if you now switch to mobile view, you will see that the view wide, the space between the icons is less than when you go to desktop. You see? So it's been calculated by the view wide of your screen. It's a pretty useful one. So now you know how to create the social media buttons, but I also want to show you something more, because when you go to your content and you go to your Facebook, now you can add, of course, your link. Always add the HTTPS facebook.com/wpressdoctoral. I don't have a Facebook account. This is how it works. And here you can change the background color. So let's say, for example, you want all the icons to be the same color. You can do that. Let's make them black, all of them. That looks pretty awesome. You go to Twitter, make it black. You go to Instagram, you make it black. And you go to YouTube, you make it black. And we go to Vimeo and also make it black. Now this is really styleful if you want to show the icons just not so much and all the same colors. It is all possible when going into the settings of the individual social network. So enter your link right there, change the background. You can change it per social media network, which is really great. All right, so that's basically it, because there is not much more to say about the social media follow module. I often use this module in my headers and in my footers because it is really great for that. All right, let's go to the next module. Welcome back. The next module is the tabs. So we're going to add the tabs right here below this one. So we just went to the slider, social media follow. Now we go with the tabs. What are the tabs? Well, just as you see right here, those are tabs like you use in your browser or anything else. It's very useful if you want to give some more information about your journeys or your technical information, and you have different topics and you don't want to create an entire page, you just create tabs. Tabs are pretty useful. So let's give it some content right now. This tab title will be WordPress built some time ago. It is open source and blah 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 blah. All right, so now you know what's in there. All right, the next tab we'll be calling Divi, the most and best, greatest visual builder. It gives you endless possibilities. Blah 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 blah. And of course, we're going to create another one, which is speed. The best way to get more speed out of your Divi installation. Blah, 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 blah. All right, now we have something to work with. So if you go to the front end of your website, this is the way tabs work. You just press on it and you can see the actual text. All right, let's style this module a little bit further. Let's go to design and go to your body text. Here you can change the text of the body for all your different tabs. Let's change this to Nunito and we have to make it a little bit bigger. Let's try 18. And here you can change, of course, the text as with every Divi module, you know how that works. Let's go to tab text. The tab text is the tabs on the top right here where you see the brush icons right now. If I press it, we go to this one. You can make the background color of your tab a color, whatever you want. So let's make it a little bit like this one. The inactive tabs, we can make them white, for example. Tab background color could be black and the tab text color could be black, or you can make them, for example, a little bit grayish like this, so people know exactly where they are right now. The tab font should be the same. I think Nunito is great, or well, let's go with Oswald. It's also pretty cool. We have to make it a little bit bigger. Yes. All right. If you go to sizing, you can just change your module, exactly the same with spacing, your border around your entire module. I would not use this right now. Debug shadow, of course. You press on content, you go to your WordPress tab, the first one, and then you go to design. You can actually change the text, of course, and the titles of this individual tab. It's really great. You can change the text color and it will change only in this one and not in the other one. You can also change the background color right now to make it, for example, hideous blue. And now when you see it, when you go to the other one, this one is not affected by the changes we did in the WordPress version, not in the other tab about WordPress and not about the Divi. So it's pretty cool. You can change anything you want. You can actually add a background image. So you can see what happened. You can actually add images on the background of your tabs. It's pretty cool. It's actually a pretty normal text module, but with tabs, so you know how to change that one, don't you? This is actually pretty boring. What if we can create 2 tabs with 2 images or even more, and you can actually create something really awesome with that one? Let me show you what I mean. You go into the settings of your module, and we're going to delete this one. We go to Advanced, CSS ID, and we add this class icon tabs. Press save. Now we go to the settings of this page. We go to Advanced, Custom CSS, and you paste in this code that you can find in the description of this video. Now we're gonna add some images. So you go to your media library and add 2 images that you want to use in your tabs. Well, let's say I want to use, for this one, I want to use this heart. We're gonna paste it in right here. Just remove those one and add them in right there. And I also want to use this one. And I go to my second URL. I'm gonna make this one. All right, pretty cool. So now when you save this one, and we're gonna save this page. And now when we load it on the front end, this is what you will see. We have used these tab modules to create something more awesome. Now you might be thinking, well, what can I do with this one? Well, it's pretty easy. For example, let's change this to ask a personal quote. And the other one is, for example, ask a professional quote. And now, as you can see, people can actually switch between the two and they can see a different form right there. So this is how you can do it. I totally trust your creativity to use this and create something really awesome. All right, the code is in the description of this video. And if you take a look at this code more in detail, then you will see that there is a lot more that you can change, you can add, and you can customize. So good luck with this module. I know you can create something really awesome. All right, we're going to the next module. Alright, so the next module we're going to discuss is a one I use often a lot, and it is called the testimonial modules. This is what Divi Standards testimonial module looks like. It is a icon with a image and your content and your name. Well, it's pretty awesome. So let's just fill it in really quick. So when you click on image, you can add this image right there. All right, Johnny, you're awesome. But if you go to elements, you can disable the quote icon, yes or no. And let's go to design. You can style the quote icon. So I want to, first of all, make it a little bit bigger. Well, this is great. We're gonna fix that later on. The background color of the quote icon, I will make it white, and I want this one to be bluish, like the style right there. And if you go to image, you can actually style your image right there. Here you can choose the width and the height of your image. I would suggest you keep it the same, but this way you can make it a very long image, or you can just make it a round image. It is totally up to you. If you want to go bigger than 200 pixels, of course, that is possible. For example, let's go with 400 pixels, or you can use percentages or whatever. So we're going back to 200. I think 200 is great. We want, of course, the rounded corners, so let's make it 50%. And when you do it, it becomes a really smooth, really nice, completely rounded image. So that is what I want. You can add a border right there to your image if you want it. So you can, of course, add a shadow to your image right there. Looks really great. Change all these styles. Well, and let's change the body font. We're gonna change this one to Nunito. I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger, or else you can't really read it. Let's change it to 18. Right, awesome. And if you just point your mouse at your module, you now see all these brushes where you can change actually exactly the same things that we are doing right now. The body text, this is the author text. Let's make it black. And this is, for example, his position text. Let's make this one bold. And this is the company text. So you can change this one to another color right there. So this is the way you can actually style this entire module. It's so simple, and it's just the way that you imagine it should work. It's really easy. So I've just shown you the most used things that I change. And I also like to add some more spacing between the icon and the text. So we go to Advanced Custom CSS, and you go to the testimonial description, and you add margin top is 50 px. Here you go. Now you can see that we have pushed the text down, but if you also want to change the image right down, you can go to portrait and also add the same amount margin top, for example 50 px on the testimonial portrait box. So this is the way you can actually really easy change this entire thing. This module is really straight to the point. It's really easy. So let's go on to the next module. The next module is the most used module in the Divi world. It is. Let's go to it. And we scroll all the way down, and we are in the last modules right now. It's the text module. I'm gonna show you how to change this one. Here you can just add some little text in it, and you can of course just style it the way you know how you can style your text modules. So that is pretty basic and really straightforward. What you might not know is these options here on the top. Here you can style your links, your unordered list, your ordered list, and your block quotes inside your text. You might not know that already. So if I go to my content and go to my text, I'm gonna add a little bullet list. I'm just gonna create something that you might want to know, because the most requested feature on this one is how can we change the bullet list. So let's make this one the bullet list. WordPress Divi is awesome. If you go to the text design settings and you go down here, you can change the list style type. You can make a circle of it, you can make a square of it, and you can make nothing of it. And that's all there is. Why isn't there any more? Well, I got you covered, my friend. Here we go. You go to advanced, you go to CSS IDA classes, and we're gonna give this one a CSS class, which is called custom_bullets. We're gonna save this one. Now we go to the page settings, we go to advanced, we go to custom CSS, And now you just paste in this custom CSS snippet, and you can find it in the description of this video. So just paste it in, and as you can see right now what happens, this enables you to use all these icons as your bullets in Divi. Isn't that awesome? So as you can see right now, I have used the /4e in my Divi bullets. As you can see right now, you have the bullets and the check marks. So what are we gonna do? We're gonna save this one. We're going back into our text module. We go to design, we go to text, and then we go to our unordered list. And then we are going to the type is none, exactly like that. And if you now save it, you can see right now that we have check marks as our bullet list. And on the back end, Google will still see that those are bullets. So it works really awesome. If you want to use another icon, it's very easy. Just go to the elegant theme fonts. The link is also in the CSS snippet. So if you want, for example, this arrow right here, we would need E03C. Just copy it, go back to your CSS and just replace this one. Remove everything before and the X itself, and remove anything behind the C. And here you go. Now you have changed the bullets again to create this beautiful icon. Well, this is just awesome. And of course, you can style it all the way you want. The margin right, for example, you can make this like, let me show you what happens if you just change the margin on the right side. Then you can just change the distance between the text and your bullets. You can also change the margin on the entire left side to make it more lined out with the module above. And if you, for example, want to make them green, just add color is in your hex code, and then you will get the right color of your icons. Isn't that awesome? All right, let's go to the next module. So the next module we're going to talk about is the, let's see right there, is the, oh, we're almost done, guys. Oh no, the toggle module. So the toggle module is actually quite the same as the accordion module we talked about in another video, but this one is just only one toggle. So let me show you how this works. Your title goes, of course, here. Your awesome toggle title. And the content goes in there, of course. Alright, then you have the state right there. The state will say, well, is your toggle open by default or is it closed by default? Something that the accordion module still needs to have. This little option is great. Background, here you can change the background of your entire toggle module. And this will change all the backgrounds of your module. I would not recommend this. So let's just close it. If you go to design, you can change the color of your icon. So let's make it dark blue, and you can even change the font size of your icon, as you can see. The toggle itself, the open toggle background color, that is when you press this button, what kind of background does it really have? But if you do that, what you will see right now is when you click on it, it will change after the animation. So you can actually remove the animation or just remove the background color. The closed toggle background color can be different. So for example, it can be black, and your text, well, we can make it white, and we can change the font, of course. Do anything you want. So this is pretty obvious and pretty logical. Alright, just hit that icon there, that brush icon, and you can change the toggle color. If I change my background to white, then my icon is gone. So that is not very logical. So use something that is pretty okay, but you can't see all the time like this. Actually, this entire module is really simple because the next is just your close title text color. If you want to make it closed, you have it white. And when you have your title text open, it is black. It is pretty easy. So this is one of those modules that is pretty awesome to add a custom box shadow to your module. You can also add a border to it if you really like that. So that's really pops out. So one of the questions I most got is, how do I change this icon and can we give it some more space? Yes, of course you can. Just go to your spacing and go to your padding and just add a little bit more spacing right there. And now you can see that you can just move this all the way around, and even the toggle button. If you don't want to change the toggle icon, just delete this one and you can only change this one, which is pretty awesome. All right. The border, the box shadow, the filters, transform, everything is pretty much straightforward as you know. But now is the question, how can we change the icon of this toggle button? Well, you need some CSS. So we're gonna save this one. You go to the options of this page, you go to advanced, you go to custom CSS, and here you paste in the snippet you can find in the description of this video, and you can just paste it in there right there. As you now can see that this icon just has changed to this icon, which is pretty awesome if you ask me. Now, if you want to have another icon, just go to the website of Elegant Themes, and here you can just select any icon you want. Be sure to only use it from the X. So if you want to use this one, just copy this entire thing, go back to your CSS and remove the two numbers and make it, for example, remove everything before the X and remove also this one. So now you have it. Here is your icon that we have selected. So that's the way how it works with these icons. All right. So that's basically it. Let's go to the next module. So on this awesome juicy website, I want to add another module, and it's almost the last of this video. So we're gonna hit this plus button and we're gonna see what this is. It's a video module. All right, we're gonna add a video right there. Well, the video module is actually very, very useful, and I use it a lot of times to implement any videos that you want. So for example, if you want to have a YouTube URL, just press the video and press insert from URL. Just paste in your YouTube video or your Vimeo video or whatever video you want and just drop the URL right there and press insert into post. Now your video has been inserted. So you can also add your own videos. Just go to your media library, upload a file, or when it's already there, just press it and press upload a video. And now your video will be added to the video module. The video module, it has to be pushed to play. It will not automatically play. If you want to have it automatically played, then you have to use it as a background. For example, just go to the row settings, go to background, click on the video icon, add your background right there, press upload video, and then you press OK, and this is what happens. So, and then it will play automatically. But if you want to do this, then you also need to add a video WebM file. So to maximize your compatibility with different devices. How you can create a WebM video? Well, it's pretty easy. You just use your MP4 video. Just go to this website from Cloud Convert. It's a really awesome company. They let you convert free files up to 10 files a day. So that's pretty awesome. Just select your video and change nothing about all this stuff and nothing about this stuff. If you want to trim it, you can trim it. And then you can just press the button convert now and it will be converted and downloaded to your computer and you can upload it again to Divi. So that's the way how you can add this WebM video. But that is if you want to use it as a background. We are not talking about that one. We are actually talking about the video module. So back to the video module it is. I use this video inside of the video module. It looks great. I don't like all these YouTube elements like this text and you watch later, share and you watch on YouTube. I just want this picture with a play button. Well, just go to overlay and press generate from video. Now it will take the thumbnail from YouTube and put it in right there. That is amazing. If this doesn't work for some reason, then you can just press this gear icon. You go to your media library and choose any image you like. I just uploaded my thumbnail. I can use that one. Or I can just use this one and now we have a overlay from a different kind of image. But I like this thumbnail, so that's pretty cool. However, the play button is totally invisible right now because of the white background. So what are we gonna do about that? We go to design, we go to play icon, and we just make it black. It is that easy. Yes, it is that easy. You can even change the size of this one. If you press on overlay, you can change the overlay, it's this color, to make it, for example, completely white. Or a little bit in between, like that. This is pretty great. If you go to sizing, you can of course change the width of your module, which is pretty useful. You can change the module alignment anywhere you want on the page, but let's leave it like this one. Of course, you can add a border. I really like the box shadows with these video modules because they really pop out a bit, and I really love that with this one. And of course, you can use the filters. As you all know, it will change and everything on this particular video. Basically, this module is pretty easy, but what if you want to change the icon used for the play button? How are we gonna do that? Well, it's pretty easy if you know how. You go to the options of this page, we go to advanced, and just paste in the CSS snippet, which has a background and it says your URL image right here, .png. So what we're gonna do, you go to your media library and you're gonna add or use an awesome image like this one. Hey, this is pretty cool. You press copy URL to clipboard and remember the dimensions, 86 by 90. All right, let's go back. We're gonna paste in the URL right there. And now we only have to change the height and the width, 90 by 86. And now you can see we have this awesome play button on our custom play button in our Divi video module. And if I now save this, let's exit the visual builder. And here you can see now you have this awesome play button. However, it's not centered in the middle. So if you want to center it, we have to go back to the visual builder. We go to the options of this page, we go to Advanced, Custom CSS, and here you can find the place where it should be. So if you want to lower this button a bit, well, you just go to there and you go in margin top and add another 50 pixels, for example, and now you see that the button just moved down. To be really honest, you have to change this one and replace this one with the right one, but hey, let's use a shortcut right now. Just add margin top 50px right now. All right, that's it. So now you know also how to use your own images as a video play button in a module. Let's go to the last module. So for the next and the last module, we are going to stay on this Juice website and we're going to add a video slider. Now, the video slider is not actually what you think it would do, like slide all the videos. No, but it looks quite a bit different. So let's just insert our first video. Then you go and duplicate it. And now you can see what will happen. This is how this slider looks like. It is actually multiple videos below that one. And as you can see right now, it's a slider with all videos that I've put into. Maximum 4 videos here below, but you can also just copy and duplicate any more. And you can press this button to see the rest of the videos. All right, but you get the point. So let's go with these 4 videos. Now, the first thing you will see that the videos are just new video, new video, new video. Just press this button, go into admin label. And here you can give it a label. This is the one, Divi carousel. This we're gonna add this one and we press save. All right. So now we can actually see what's inside the video slider. Pretty useful, don't forget it. If you go to elements right now, you can choose to show the arrows. These are the arrows. You can just press no, now they are gone, or yes. The slider controls, you can use a thumbnail track as they call it, or the dot navigation. The dot navigation is really hard to see, so you have to make it bigger and a different color, but I like the thumbnail track a bit more. You can go to the overlay. Well, I would suggest to use this one because as you can see now, it is way more smoother if you're using videos from YouTube. Now we don't have all the commercials. It will just grab all the thumbnails from it and just place them in right there. This looks great. If you click on the background, you can change the background for the thumbnail track right there. This looks pretty awesome. And of course, but I do like the box shadow. With this module, however, if you click on the box shadow, it will create individual shadows also below the thumbnail track. So that's pretty awesome. I would suggest to turn it on because it looks beautiful. Alright, border, spacing, sizing, it's all the same. Play control color is also the same as I told you in my video before. In the video module, it's exactly the same. So here you can change all these things. Now, my question is, of course, can you use our CSS snippets to also change this play button to the one we had before? Well, let's see if it works. As you can see, actually, yes, the snippet also works with the video slider. And if you're wondering how can I change the generated thumbnail or anything, just click a few minutes back to go to the video module because it is exactly the same. So the only thing I'm missing in this video module is how to create an automatic slider, because they say it's a video slider, but I can't seem to find a auto animation. So that's definitely something they could improve. Alright, if you like this video, hit that like button, and if you want to see more about the full white modules, it will be the last video in this series, so maybe I'll see you there, and as always, have an awesome day.